Welcome everyone to Beauty by Jorge, my YouTube channel. I hope you all enjoyed this special episode with my sister Rosa. We're going to be discussing women aging gracefully. What do you think about that topic?
I think it is interesting. It can be controversial, but it must be talked about.
Well, we live in a society where image, looks is all very important. I'm a hairstylist, so I think I have some insights into what women want. And a lot of women like to look good, period, in general. So, do you think that women should age gracefully, or do you think that having a little plastic surgery, a little bit of cosmetic help, would be a better choice?
Well, my personal opinion, of course, everyone has their preference as to how they want to look. I personally, and not to sound arrogant or cocky or whatever, but I love my face, right? And so I'm in my late 40s right now, and I've done everything to preserve what I have. Now, with that being said, I don't think anything is wrong with if you want plastic surgery. I just think there should be balance, meaning if you look like a totally different person where people cannot recognize you, like, and I hate to say this, like Nene from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, you see her now as opposed to 15, 20 years ago, she's not the same person. That's
Right.
just one example.
So, a lot of celebrities, you would say, overdo it
They overdo it.
with the plastic surgery.
Yes, with fillers, plastic surgery, and just trying to preserve the youth as much as possible, but instead they're just damaging their face.
Or their facial structure, or the way that they normally would look to people. And
Right.
so once they start doing a lot to their faces, they start to deform themselves in a way. I believe when it comes to aging gracefully, I don't want to sound hypocritical because I have tried for myself a few things on my face. For example, and I'm not ashamed because this is a part of my journey. It's a part of my history. I got a nose job. You know how much I got, how do you say, made fun of because I had a long,
They called him Gonzo.
I had a gonzo nose. It was
Right.
parrot style, like it had a big bump right here. It was long, and I just got a tweak, I would say. What the doctor told me was, I'll actually tell you what I wanted when I went to go see him. I said, doctor, and I did my nose surgery in Guatemala. I said, doctor, I want Brad Pitt's nose. And I am obviously one, Latino, two, heavy or obese. I was very, very much bigger. My facial structure is different from Brad Pitt's. And the doctor was very, very honest. He said, no te quiero ofender. I don't want to offend you, but I want you to hear me out. And I had already done three nose job appointments here in the U.S. Everybody was charging more than $10,000. And when I went to Guatemala, I was actually introduced to him through a good friend, so I trusted him and I saw his work. Anyway, he told me, I want to tell you a few things before you start requesting to look like Brad Pitt, pretty much. He said, uno, eres gordo, you're fat. But he saed it nicely. You're
He
a
was
little plump.
honest. He was honest.
He was honest. Two, you're not white. Most Caucasians have finito noses that are fine tipped,
They have a structure,
narrow,
certain structure.
and it goes with their facial structure. And three, he said, all you really need, to be honest, is to file down the bump and lift up the tip just a little bit. I don't want to break your nose. I don't want to completely damage your nose. I don't want to disfigure your nose. And I don't want the nose that you get to be different from who you are in your face. Pretty much what he said was, I want your face to look the same way after the surgery. I don't want your face to look different because you might not like that. People might not see you the same, and it might have also side effects if you completely break down your nose and rebuild it.
Sounds painful.
And so that's exactly what he did. He only filed the tip, filed the bump, lifted the tip, and narrowed it just a little bit. And the recovery was very quick.
How long was the recovery?
It was about, I would say, a week, because I was expecting purple under here and black under here. It wasn't nothing like that. It was nothing like that. And I actually, not that it's a perfect nose, but it's much better than it was. And do I regret it? I don't regret it, but had I decided today, now that I'm 45 years old, it wouldn't matter to me. I would not do a nose job. Another thing that I tried really quickly was fillers. So when I was working at an upscale salon in Bethesda, Maryland, there was a doctor who came who was offering Botox and fillers. I wanted to try the fillers. I wanted to fill in these laugh lines. And so I tried it. It literally lasted a few days where it started to look a little fuller, and then it disappeared. And that's how they get you. They want to get you in the door.
They want to get you hooked.
And get you hooked like it's drugs. And so I didn't ever try fillers again, and I didn't want to try Botox. Botox, there's a difference. Botox freezes the muscles of the face. Fillers fill in the lines of the face.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, like the difference between Botox and filler and cost. What's the cost difference?
Okay, so Botox on every 3 months basis, I had a coworker. It was about $350 to $400 every 3 months. His name, I won't say his name,
Okay.
but he was a coworker of mine. He was Caucasian descent. He was, in other words, he was a white guy. And he was doing it every 3 months. And he said, I don't care what I'm spending. I want to look young. I want to look good.
And how old was the
He
colleague?
was around 40. He's an attractive guy, but he wanted to
Preserve.
He wanted to preserve, but he also wanted to stay looking young.
Right.
Now, brown people, black people, we stay looking younger longer.
That is true.
Caucasian Americans, they age quickly. And so he had been doing it for years, apparently. And when I met him, he looked youthful. It wasn't overly done, and I had no idea he was doing Botox. Have you ever met people who have done Botox?
Well, I didn't know until they told me. I mean, I had a few folks tell me they've done Botox on their forehead, which I'm like, your forehead?
Did you notice that their foreheads and wrinkles were not moving when they were
No, because I really didn't think people should even have a Botox. Now, I did hear people getting Botox for migraine reasons.
Yes.
That's different. But for cosmetic reasons, I wouldn't think the forehead is the first thing I would do. You know,
Well, they
or
do
filler.
foreheads here.
So
They
what?
do.
So you said Botox, and going back to the Botox versus filler, Botox is about what, $350 for, depending on what you're getting, every 3 months.
Filler
Whereas
injections
filler
are less.
How much money is that?
I'm thinking like $150 to $200.
It just depends on what it
for
is.
the area, for each area. So if you're doing fillers in the laugh lines, fillers here, fillers on the lip lines, and fillers in your lip, each area is a different, assigned price. It's not like all in one.
So let's talk about when fillers go wrong. For example, Courtney Cox got a lot of slack for her face. Was it fillers? And
Courtney
then
Cox, who starred in Friends.
Friends as Monica. I love Friends. I love Monica. But she really ruined her face, and she got so much slack that, what did she do? Undid her fillers? I mean, I don't know how she
So Courtney
rectified
Cox and a few others, such as Black China, who's a...
And Demi Moore.
Yeah, a lot of people have gotten fillers way too much. And so sometimes when they go overboard, they have to then, I don't even know how they do it, but they have to eject and release the Botox.
Yes. Is it Botox or filler
I mean,
that they have
fillers,
to?
fillers.
Okay.
They have to remove the fillers some way. I don't know exactly why. I mean, how, but they have to get it removed slowly. Lisa Rinna, you know who Lisa Rinna is.
Yeah.
She's like, she filled up her lips so much that she doesn't look like a regular Caucasian woman anymore.
She doesn't look like herself.
She doesn't look like
So,
herself.
so we've got a lot of examples on what can go wrong. And these are people with thousands of money, millions of dollars, who have started small and just continued. It was like an addiction, right?
It was like
And so I personally, if you want to do a little filler, that's fine. But just know the balance, know that there are consequences because things can always go wrong, and it's your face, right? And so I believe heavily on just drinking a lot of water, facials at home, professional facial scrubs. I love Ahava, Dead Sea products. I mean, I do those things. And so I'm in my late 40s.
So you do skincare?
I do skincare. And I've not done any kind of plastic surgery on my face. And so, but that's not to say that I won't. Because I do love my face and I like to preserve it.
You
And
like to
so
preserve it?
We'll see. But as far as a full, what is it called? Facelift? No. I
Or
don't.
a mini facelift?
No. That sounds very painful. That looks painful. And no. I just think it's too much.
So you being a woman living in this society here in the USA, do you feel pressured to look good, to stay young, or do you not really think about it?
I think for me, I once again preserve what I have because I do love my face.
But what does that mean, preserve what I have? Because you're going to naturally start to form wrinkles, laugh lines, lip lines.
Well, this is why I'm saying that's not to say I'm not going to get fillers down the road.
Okay.
To kind of iron
it
out.
You would be willing to do the price maintenance each time,
right?
To keep it up,
right? And go to the right doctor.
What about Botox?
I don't know about Botox. I don't know. I say no to Botox because that's only 3 months or 4 months, whereas fillers is more than that. It can be up to a year that lasts. So
yeah, it depends on who's doing it and what they're using.
Now
they have different kinds.
Now I will say, right? I feel like women in general, like for me myself, like I want to look good for me. I want to be stylish for me. I want to, feel great about me. I'm not here to impress anybody. It's just me.
So it's not for men?
No. No, or women.
Okay.
Women, men, nobody. This is just me.
But
I will say that women have, in general, more pressure, society pressure. Like when we see, for example, folks, oh my goodness, she looks old. We tend to like zoom in their wrinkles. Oh, how many wrinkles they have. Oh my goodness, look at the eyes and the bags and the... Do you really do that with men? Or if you see a man that's like 75 years old with like a 45-year-old chick, they don't get criticized. But you see the opposite and they do, right?
Well, when a man grows old gracefully, men normally will grow old gracefully.
Like Leo DiCaprio,
they're
Brad
seen
Pitt.
as still attractive.
Sexy, yes.
Sexy, old, grandpa. I mean, what do they call them? Silver daddies and stuff like that. They give them all kinds of names, and they're viewed as attractive.
Right.
As they're aging. When women age, women, I feel, tear those women down.
Society.
Well, I think more women, because I don't really... Well, maybe men do too.
Yeah.
But I don't see women that way. I see them attractive at different ages. I don't really care.
Right.
But I see more so women doing it to women.
They tear each other apart. Yeah, they're catty and all that. Now, Jane Fonda, she's over 80 years old. I think she looks amazing. Yeah. And I'm sure she's done all kinds of work, but she didn't overdo it. You could still see and recognize it's Jane Fonda.
And Jamie Lee Curtis as well.
I don't think she's done any work.
No, not much. She looks great.
I don't think she's done any work, but she looks good.
She looks good.
Her hair, You know, she still maintained her figure, her face, everything, everything. Now, Sarah Jessica Parker is a different
Oh
story.
yeah, I don't think she's done much either.
She hasn't done anything, but she does.
She looks very much aged.
Yeah,
She does.
but she's
In a good way or a bad way? That's the question. Well, she wasn't
Anyway.
she wasn't very attractive to begin with.
I
she's
thought
just
she
not,
was.
I don't think she's
It just
that pretty.
depends. Her eyes are gorgeous, but
Yeah.
again, you know, and Goldie Hawn, I think she looks good too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Salma Hayek, she's over 50. She looks amazing.
I think Salma Hayek looks beautiful.
I don't know if she's done any work per se.
I think she does Botox. I think she does fillers.
But
and
it's
possibly.
But it's not
But it's not too
plastic
dramatic.
surgery.
Yeah, it's not, because she still looks like Salma Hayek.
Exactly.
Jennifer Lopez, when there are no filters on the photos, she looks like she's aging.
Well, she doesn't look like the fly girl
No.
that she started looking
Yeah.
as. If you look at the years as they progressed, she definitely has had some work done, but it's been beautiful work. Beautiful
It's been
work.
good. And another thing about Jennifer Lopez that kind of distinguishes, she's always doing her makeup well with good makeup artists.
Right.
That helps a lot.
Right.
It
Right.
really does.
So I have my personal artist here. I think he always does a good job. When I have a really important event or thing that I have to do, I always ask George to do my makeup.
We actually did a photo shoot today. So she was out in the sun. She was posing. She was doing her thing. So it's not as fresh as it was earlier.
No, it's a little rundown, but it's all good. It's my face. Anyway.
So let's say you're in your 60s, 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you can accept looking older?
I don't know that yet. I say that because again, it's interesting because I've never been a shallow person.
Or vain.
Yeah, I've never been that person. I mean, I feel like we're opposite right now. You were very vain, very in your 20s. You're now in your 40s. I in my 20s, I didn't care. I mean, I would walk out looking like a hot mess, and I didn't care. I didn't even have makeup or what have you. Now, as I got into my late 30s, your girl here, I started to really understand what makeup is about, how to use it. You know, even putting on lashes was a challenge, but I made it work. Why? Because I cared about my looks as I aged.
Mm-hmm.
So we all go through our seasons. I've never thought about putting something in my buttocks. Never,
Silicone.
ever. Silicone or whatever that is.
What about fillers in your lips?
No.
You wouldn't do that either?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if you want to enhance it, you use makeup, right? Or what have you. But I just feel like some ladies, they overdo it and it looks disgusting. It looks unreal. And to the point where a lot of women do the same type of work on their face that they all look alike.
They're starting to look like Mr. Potato Head, but the female version. You know, just putting parts together.
And they all look alike. I mean, you know, from the lips to the butt to all of that.
Everything.
And ladies, men don't really find all of that attractive. It's you guys. It's us. We women, we do that to ourselves.
So now the trend is to undo the BBLs.
Oh, I didn't know
They're
that.
starting to remove their
Is
BBLs.
it for
health purposes?
health reasons?
No,
or
for vanity's sake.
okay.
A lot of women are starting to remove their BBLs, and they're wanting to go back to their natural bodies, removing silicone from their breast if they've done them too big, and they want to go back to their smaller
Now
breast sizes.
now I've heard a few. I did have a friend, or I have a friend who had implants, but then took them off due to health risk.
Well,
So,
with
it just
implants in the
depends.
breast, you have to change them every 10 years.
every 10 years.
Otherwise, just remove them. And so it's an expensive, journey for them. But I just want to say when it comes to men and women, it's completely different. Men don't think about
Maintaining.
aging gracefully. That's not even in their psychology. They don't think about it. I am over the vanity. I think I got
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, and really it's due to many factors. I don't think about that anymore, and I've never really felt pressure to look young. I look young. I think both of us look young because we've maintained ourselves kind of like without
And
children, no
life has been
marriage.
good. Life
Yeah,
has been good.
and I think people, honestly speaking, and there's nothing wrong with it. People who get married and have a lot of kids, they seem to age
Quicker.
faster.
Yeah.
I see some of my high school friends now, today, and I'm like, what happened? But they had a few kids. You know, they don't look that youthful. They look tired. They look a little more
Worn out. Worn
a
out.
little,
Yeah.
a little tired.
Yeah.
Un poquito cansadito.
But going back to this, I think having little tweaks, me as a woman, little tweaks here and there,
Is okay.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
You know, but I'm not going to change my face where you can't recognize me or.
But what if those little tweaks get you excited and want more?
Then I need the family to do an intervention.
An intervention.
And say, what the heck are you doing? Your face is starting to look unrecognizable.
But would you listen and take advice?
I don't know
Only,
unless you are there, right? But
Or
me
convince
personally, I'm like, Lord, give me the grace to accept what I cannot change, and that is aging.
well, it's kind of like when you have gray hair. Do you want to color them or do
Oh,
you
I
want
color.
You want to color them?
I do color. Yeah.
I have a lot of clients, and some want to go completely gray, but they always end up coloring their hair. It's just
Silver gray. Like
no,
a
they
nice-
want to cover it. They want to color it
yeah.
and
Okay.
cover it.
Yeah, yeah.
And some will take my advice, because my advice is don't cover it. Don't battle the grays. Work with the grays. So I like to highlight and blonde them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to cover and completely make them look dark because they're no longer there in their lives.
That's good
anymore.
advice. That's
Yeah.
good advice.
I think it's better to work with them and not against them, not against the grays. You have to work with them, in my opinion, and it's less damaging.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
this ends our first ever podcast together, and I want to thank Rosa for being here, joining me. We spoke in English because this is how we normally speak to each other. I hope you guys don't mind and enjoy the podcast. Like the page, subscribe to my Beauty by Jorge page, and any last words, remarks?
I just say that embrace the stage that you're in. There's nothing wrong with having little tweaks here and there, little tweaks here and there. Whether you're a man or woman, I just feel like you need to accept the stage, the season that you are in, and do your best to control what you can, meaning drink your water, eat good, facial,
Avoid the sun.
skincare, avoid the sun. Like, I
Like-
wear hats now, and I have
Sunspots.
I have one sunspot
Okay.
from when I was overseas in the Mediterranean. Again, I was 30, 31. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't put sunblock at all. I didn't put a hat. And now this is the consequence. I have a sunspot that
And
has
she's
grown.
a little lighter than me, so she can get that easily if she doesn't take care of herself. From the sun.
Right. And now, right, I wear hats, sunglasses. Every day before I go to work or what have you, I put on sunblock, at least 85. At least 50 to 85 to
Okay.
protect my complexion.
Good advice. Good advice. Well, thank you all, and we will see you guys in la próxima.